Hello, welcome to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton. This is a podcast about movies. That's it. It's really simple. You know, I just come on here, I tell you about movies that have recently released, and then, hopefully you get inspired to go watch a movie. That's really where we want to land. We want to land at you watching movies. And today we've got four varying degrees of big ones, but they are for very diverse, interesting movies. And we're going to start with the biggest of the big, and that's going to be the latest installment of the Predator series that started, obviously, I guess it was 1985 with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse the Body Ventura and Bill Duke, and Shane Black was an actor in it. You know, the guy who wrote Lethal Weapon. And the Dan Trachtenberg has taken over the Dan Trachtenberg has taken over this franchise. He started with during the pandemic tail end of it, when theaters were opening, but they had this movie and they just decided, you know what, we're going to go straight to streamer with it. And it was called Prey. And it was basically like, hey, what would have happened if Predator came to North America in, say, 1750 or something like that, somewhere around there, before 1650. I'm sorry, not even 1750, 1650. Just a long time ago, what would have happened. And it's fascinating. It's a fantastic movie. Obviously the original is classic, and you have to give the props to the original for being a classic, and everybody loves the original because it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's a lot to love. But at the same time, you also have to say, hey, Prey is actually a better movie. Like, just as a flat out movie, Prey is a better movie. And and I'm not going to apologize for that. Like, it just is. And during the long history of movies in the Predator universe, there have been some pretty bad ones. Like, the same studio owned Predator and Aliens, and they said, hey, why don't we just mash those two things together? And they did it haphazardly with a bad movie, Alien versus Predator, and decided to do it again with another bad movie with Alien versus Predator Exodus or Requiem, or doesn't even matter. It's a bad movie. And excuse me. But that was kind of almost the death knell. And then they got it back on its legs with a movie called Predators, plural, where several predators, and societal predators, we'll call them, end up on a planet brought there by the alien species. And it was a one-off, and it's good, not great. It's a dumb movie, but it's the action and everything is top notch. And then Prey really elevated to, in the same sense that, since we know they're in the same film universe, in the same sense that Alien and Aliens are genuinely fantastic movies. Like, they are, you don't have to apologize for people showing those people those movies. Prey falls into that. And then earlier this year, there was a Predator Hunter of Hunters animated film that went straight to Hulu, and it was really good. I reviewed that. You can go back and look at it. And now we have the third installment, and we are getting a little bit more of the Alien universe, because Weyland Yutani there's an android. The Predator goes to a death planet, in essence, like a planet that the purpose of this movie is really to build out the Predator universe, okay? And so what we're finding out is that in order to be welcomed into the clan, you have to go and do a hunt an animal or species or something that is known to be dangerous and bring it back. And so they'll then, like rite of passage. And so, hey, welcome to the family. And there's a runt. His dad wants to call him. His brother stands up for him. And in so doing, the father kills the brother, and the runt is sent off by the brother, as he's being killed, to the Death Planet to bring back this legendary beast that nobody has ever brought back before. And he's going to do it. And the Predator, while there, encounters a Weyland-Yutani, artificial being. Ian Holm played one in the first movie, and Bishop was, the synthetic. Sorry, Bishop was the synthetic in the second movie, and now we have Ellie Fanning playing a synthetic, and she just adds a dimension to this movie that kicks it up from, this is a really cool action flick, to I freaking love this movie. This is just a really fun movie. Thank you. Because the conceit of I am Hunter, hear me roar can really only take you so far. You need extra characters, and this movie understands that and says, we are going to give you I am Hunter, hear me roar, but we're also going to give you sort of like a fish out of water with an ulterior motive synthetic person, and it, needless to say, guess what? Weyland-Yutani is not on this planet for ulterior, or for good motives. Anybody who's aware of the Alien series. And it's like, okay, good. This is how, if you're going to do what you wanted to do with Alien versus Predator, this is how you do what you needed to do. And and so let's review. Let's give it a rating. Here, by the way, absolutely, if you've liked any Predator movie ever, absolutely go see this movie. If you liked any Alien universe movie ever, and just have been begrudgingly whatever to Predator, even if you've never even seen a Predator movie, definitely see this. And if you like action movies, go see that. I highly recommend. Okay, here at Really Real Talk, we do tacos instead of stars. And if we feel like something deserves a little extra, instead of doing half a taco like you would do with half a star, we add guac. Why? Because nobody eats a half a taco. This is a 4-taco movie. It's just that is what it is, and it's one of those where it's like, it's a perfect 4-taco movie. These are the best 4 freaking tacos you will ever have in your entire life. And I don't know what to tell you. Like textbook 4-taco movie. And that's where we are. Die My Love. This is a movie starring Jennifer Lawrence and the guy who played the vampire in the Twilight movies, Robert Pattinson, and directed by Lynn Ramsey, who we most recently saw directing she in the past she's done We Need to Talk About Kevin, but her prior movie was You Were Never Really Here, which was a movie starring Joaquin Phoenix that let's just say her movies have dramatic heft. Okay. And Die My Love is absolutely, positively no different from that. Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson are playing a young couple. The first 10 minutes of the movie is basically a montage of the couple moving into a house that clearly needs a lot of work. The Robert Pattinson, was left the house by his uncle. We find out briefly, and they're moving into this house that needs a lot of work. And she and in the montage, we see them doing what young married newly young couples do. They are not married, doing what young couples do, and she gets pregnant, and we see her pregnant, and then she has the baby, and that's what the movie starts. Literally, I mean, that's it's literally just a montage. Like, it's just a montage to set up, okay, this is a couple that appears happy outwardly, but and now let's drop you into when they have the baby. And we find Jennifer Lawrence on her own in the middle of one of the fields that abuts the house, and she is very much alone. And oh man, so this movie is about the the alienation that you feel. I would imagine, I've not been a new mother, I've been a new father, but the alienation that you can feel as a new mother. She's a writer, she can't write. She's in this house that is a piece of shit, and nothing ever is getting better with the house. The house is a piece of shit, her life's a piece of shit. This movie has a lot of symbolism, but at no point does it like symbolism. We'll get to a movie later that does that. It's just really heavy. This is such a heavy movie, and Jennifer Lawrence ends up in the hospital, and a mental institution, and when she comes back, the house has been gussied up, painted, cleaned up, and the interior is done. Like, a lot of work has been done, so who knows how long she was in there, but it had to have been at least a month, probably longer. And so, like, alienation, it's like, this isn't my house. Like, before, it wasn't my house, but it was a mess, but it was my mess. Now, this isn't my house, I am moving into the house that is somebody else's house, and I am even more of a stranger in my own life. And she just fails to make any connection. They make the wonderful decision to get married. Not a wonderful decision. And that turns into a thing. And it's just, man, it's such a difficult movie. It is an absolutely emotionally draining, perfectly made movie. It is a movie that instantly is in the I'm not sure I can ever watch this movie again Hall of Fame. It's a first balloter with Requiem for a Dream, and other movies like that, where it's like, oh, I recognize the artistry, I recognize how wonderful all of the acting is, I recognize everything, but I also I cannot put myself through that again. I don't know what the scenario would be where I would put myself through that again. It's just it's so I don't know, taxing, so draining, and so wonderful. And the ending is, and the movie throughout has this sort of dreamy feel to it. And so and the ending is like, wait, Is what's happening actually happening? Like, it's many layers. Highly recommend. Don't go in expecting don't go in expecting to be like, wow, feel good movie of the year. This is for tacos. This is perfect because it's like we got Predator Badlands for tacos. I need to see this movie again as quickly as humanly possible, and we have Die My Love for tacos. Jennifer Lawrence 100% deserves an Academy Award nomination. Could potentially win it, although Jesse Buckley in Hamnet apparently is amazing, and I fucking love Jesse Buckley. So, and Jennifer Lawrence, J Law has some already, but it's they are just it's two four taco movies on two extreme ends of the four taco spectrum, but equally delicious tacos. Just the ones from Die My Life might be a little too spicy for what you can handle and make you cry. Okay, Nuremberg. This is Russell Crowe and Rami Malek in a movie about where Russell Crowe plays Herman Goering, and Rami Malek plays Douglas Kelly, a army psychologist who has been assigned to Nuremberg to assess the ability of the first 22 prisoners that are going to go on trial at Nuremberg for basically crimes against humanity. I believe they call it crimes against peace, but in later iterations of international court, it would be called crimes against humanity. And it's the first time this has ever been tried. Shannon, oh golly, what's his name? Michael Shannon plays a Supreme Court justice who has been assigned to be the lead lawyer in this. I mean, and so the movie, focuses on Kelly's interviews with Goering, but there's a lot of other things going on at the same time too. So there was a lot of question whether or not this would even be, how would this even work? And we dive into that. And Goering's loves his family and wants to be able to get messages to and from his wife and 8-year-old daughter. And so there's a lot of things Kelly going to find the wife and daughter, and there are 22 other people, characters, 22 other Nazi high command folks, and we get a lot of time spent with them. And there's this movie is 2.5 hours long, and it feels 2.5 hours long, and it closes with a no, it is not a musical. Blair asks if it's a musical. It is not. It close like the coda. It closes with a coda. So that the first act is get the band together. The second act is interviews, and then the third act is trial. Man, I could have just skip the trial entirely. I'll be honest with you. Make the movie about Kelly. And like 80% less Goering, and because the coda is Kelly writes a book about the thread throughout the movies. Kelly wants to write a book about his experiences. That's going to make him rich. And Kelly ends up writing a book that explains that these Nazis were, what they did was not a result of some crazy Nazism, defect that these people had. These were just people who, whose, extreme authoritarian views and extreme susceptibility to extreme extremist views. That's what it is. Their susceptibility to extremist views allowed them to fall under the spell of this genuinely terrible person with genuinely terrible ideology, and it's not a illness that you can label Nazism, and apparently, and in the coda we find out, well, hey, that's not well received back in America. People don't want to be told that your penchant for siding with authoritarians might lead to some badness in some bad things, i.e. fascism, i.e. voting for Donald Trump. Oh, I didn't say that out loud. I'm sorry. So that would have made a really compelling third act in a hour and 40-minute movie. It's tacked on at the end, and it feels like it's tacked on at the end, and I would have liked that as a third act, because what I didn't need was scenes of Kelly going and hanging out with Goering's family. It was weird. I'd watch it again though. I like historical dramas. I do, especially World War II shit. It's very boomer of me. I will own that. My love for watching World War II shit is very boomer of me, but I'm giving it 3 tacos. But they're like, it's like going to Taco Bell. It's like you eat them up and you enjoy them, but you feel bad about yourself afterwards. All right. Lastly, Frankenstein on Netflix. This is the Oscar bait version of Frankenstein, directed by Guillermo del Toro, starring Oscar Isaac as Dr. Victor von Frankenstein. I don't think there's a von in there. There might be. Anyway, and Mia Goth as Victor's soon-to-be sister-in-law, because Victor's brother plays a role in this. And Jake Elordi plays the monster, the creature, I think they call it in this. Now, this movie is gorgeous, obviously. And, everything that, if you've ever seen a Guillermo del Toro movie, Shape of Water, Pan's Labyrinth, Pacific Rim, gorgeous, just beautiful, 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 beautiful. People are going to bitch and moan about the effects. All right. However, the makeup, the design, the creature design of the monster is fantastic. It all works. It all works. And Mia Goth's in it, so fuck yeah. Her costumes are ridiculous. So good. So it's 100%. It's on Netflix. Everybody fucking has Netflix. What are you doing on Netflix? Just pop on Frankenstein. Watch it. That being said, man, the symbolism is it is laid on thick, and like to the point where it's just so many choices in this movie are like, you could have, you're at 11 right now. You could have done it at a 9, and it would, not only would everybody have gotten it and been okay with it, it would have been significantly better. At one point, Victor's brother says to Victor, "You're the monster." Yeah, obviously. I heard one complaint here where the complaint is that the monster's not scary. I don't need a scary Frankenstein. I don't, like the scary aspects of what Mary Shelley presents in the original novel, which, this does take variations away from, but also does stuff in it that I'd never really even seen in a Frankenstein adaptation before. And I don't know how much scary you're going to extract from it at this point. You know, uh, the to if you're going to make people afraid of modernism, you have to uh you really have to be where we are technologically speaking and hitting upon this is the worst possible outcome of where we are today. You know, Frankenstein's not that, because it's a period piece from a long time ago. Like, you would have to literally just rewrite Frankenstein to be somebody programming AI, and then the AI becomes sentient. Okay, that's scary. There's nothing fucking scary about Frankenstein's monster to somebody in 2025. So fuck off. No, Frankenstein's not going to be like. What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? All it's going to be is stupid jump scares if that's what you're going to do. Jacob Elordi, it just owns this fucking movie with Mia Goth being like, fantastic, and then everybody else just really trying, including Guillermo del Toro. But man, I dig everything Elordi does. I dig everything that Mia Goth does, and you need to trim 20 minutes off of the first two acts of this movie, because the first two acts of the movie, like, it's broken out into stories, and first it's Victor's story, and then it's the monsters or the creatures story. But Victor's story is literally the first two acts, and then the creature story is the third act, and it's like meh, meh, meh. And it's like, split it down the middle, my guy. And there's a lot in that in the opening parts that it's like we can trim that off. Like, Guillermo del Toro makes a choice here to make the monster extremely, extremely hyper sympathetic, to the point that if you trim off some of the backstory of how Victor got here, you're not losing anything because of how thickly layered you have made the creature's sympathetic tendencies, to where you don't need to give Victor any humanity at all. None at all. We don't need to see that Victor's father was a dickwad. Doesn't matter. We don't need to see that Victor loved his mom. Doesn't matter. Just dive in. Give him a brother. That's cool. Give the brother a fucking awesome, amazing, beautiful, creepy, fiance and Mia Goth. That's fine. That's enough. Like, honestly, that gets us there. So I'm doing, this is another three taco. And so, and I think it's funny. And I knew coming in, I was going to be doing two movies up front that were going to be four tacos and totally opposite ends of the spectrum. And Nuremberg and Frankenstein are 2 3 taco movies that are plagued by very similar problems, where it's like, somebody needed to sit down and make a decision on Frankenstein and Nuremberg and say, we need the focus is off and we need to refocus. So Frankenstein's getting Oscar nominations. Nuremberg's not getting any, but Frankenstein's absolutely getting Oscar nominations. It's 100% getting an art direction nomination. It's probably getting a script nom. I'd be shocked if it got a Best Picture nom, but people love Guillermo del Toro because he's such a champion of movies. So don't be surprised if it gets one. Elordi 100% deserves. Mia Goth won't get one, but she deserves, because she's amazing in it. I'm gonna say no. Her part's way too small. She doesn't deserve a nomination. But I would be cool with it. It's gonna get costume, because of what they dressed Mia Goth up in is just award dripping with awards. It's gonna get makeup, because it's getting the Oscar nominations, but man, it's gonna win some, and you're gonna feel a little weird about that. All right. Next week, this weekend, we've got coming out The Running Man, which is not a reboot of the fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Fuck off with that. Which is an adaptation is a novel, loyal adaptation of Stephen King's book, The Running Man. And we're also getting a Now You See Me, Now You Don't, the third in the Now You See Me franchise. It's a heist movie. I'm there. Remember, the floor is high with me in heist movies. But the real treat is that Sergio's going to be here as well. And so we're going to have Sergio along, and we're going to treat everybody with Sergio sent me a message saying, "Hey, I really want to talk about the movies in 1995 if you have some time." And I have time to do whatever the fuck Sergio wants, because he's awesome. So we're going to open with a review of films from 1995, and then we're going to talk about Running Man, and then I'm going to talk about Catch Me, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And it'll be a good pod because Sergio's here. What can I say? I hope this one was a good pod. I thought it was. I enjoyed myself. 4 fun movies. None of them quite as good as Begonia, though. Go fucking see Begonia. I'm Paul Britton. This is Real to Real Talk. Hope to see you next week. Thanks.